Have you ever heard the whispers? That question bouncing around trading floors, echoing in private investor groups, and lighting up online forums. What if the next revolution is hidden right in front of us? A company so small, its entire market value is less than a city block, yet its technology could redefine the future of global energy. This is the story of a renewable penny stock, unknown today, but possibly legendary tomorrow. A company whose journey feels like the quiet rise of early solar pioneers, mixed with the risky genius of wind innovators, and fueled by the relentless ambition of those who dared to imagine a world free from fossil fuels. But before we get to the storm of 2026, we have to go back, because every financial revolution starts long before anyone notices. The year is 2018. A small team of engineers, scientists, and energy economists gather in an abandoned warehouse lab on the outskirts of a European industrial town. Their mission sounded less like a business plan and more like a prophecy. Build a microenergy technology that could produce power cheaper than solar panels, smaller than a suitcase, and work anywhere from remote villages to disaster zones. Their first attempts were complete failures. Wires burned out, prototypes overheated, investors pulled their funding. But innovation rarely grows on stable ground. It thrives in chaos, where doubt is thick and success feels impossible. Then, in 2020, something changed. During a late-night experiment, a new variation of their engineered biocell produced an output 40% higher than they ever expected. It wasn't enough for the world to notice, but it was enough for one curious venture capitalist to place a modest bet. A seed investment, a risk, a tiny spark. That spark gave birth to the company now quietly reappearing on our radar. A tiny renewable penny stock. Let's call it EcoFlux Energy, though almost no one outside niche forums even recognizes the name. Its stock trades for less than a cup of tea. It's thinly traded, rarely mentioned, and often forgotten. But its technology, that's a completely different story. By 2023, EcoFlux had developed a hybrid microgeneration unit. It blends nano-solar absorption with a biological catalyst, allowing it to generate supplemental electricity even in low-light conditions. In simple terms, it's a panel that doesn't stop working at dusk and doesn't fully depend on the sun. It's a strange fusion, half solar, half biological, and entirely disruptive. But breakthroughs rarely happen without making a few enemies. Larger energy companies saw this innovation as a threat, an unpredictable wildcard. Behind closed doors, subtle obstacles started to appear. Two partnerships suddenly collapsed. A research grant was abruptly frozen. Rumors suggested pressure from legacy energy groups, but no hard evidence ever surfaced. Still, the company survived. Barely. Then came 2024. Global energy markets were shifting faster than geopolitical alliances. Heat waves struck entire continents. Floods drowned cities. Power grids collapsed under unpredictable loads. Nations were scrambling for scalable energy alternatives. Renewable demand surged, but with it came a harsh realization. Traditional solar and wind just could meet all the needs. Storage was expensive, transmission was unstable, and costs were rising. Investors began searching for unconventional solutions, dangerous solutions, experimental solutions. And through all this, EcoFlux Energy remained unnoticed. That is until an unexpected event in early 2025. A rural region, struck by a severe storm, lost all of its electrical infrastructure. Relief teams, equipped with EcoFlux's portable microunits, supplied stable power within hours. They lit up medical tents, purified water, and powered communication lines. Footage of this leaked online. It wasn't dramatic or polished, just raw silent images of a small device illuminating a dark, devastated field. Within 48 hours, that video spread like wildfire across social platforms. Engineers and investors dissected every single frame. Analysts debated the technology's authenticity. Forums erupted with speculation, and suddenly, for the first time in its quiet life, the company had global attention. But attention is a double-edged sword. On one side, there's opportunity. On the other, there's intense scrutiny. Regulators demanded tests. Energy conglomerates attempted to acquire the patents. Critics argued the tech was unscalable, while supporters claimed it could change the world. The company's stock price moved erratically, tiny spikes, followed by steep crashes, the kind of behavior you expect from penny stocks, fueled by rumor instead of certainty. Yet, something deeper was happening. Something beyond all the speculation. The world was approaching 2026. The year international climate treaties would activate new carbon restrictions. Governments needed fast, flexible, low-cost renewable solutions. And EcoFlux had exactly the kind of innovation that policymakers were quietly hunting for. Throughout late 2025, three major events completely reshaped the company's destiny. First, an unexpected partnership proposal arrived from a Scandinavian manufacturing firm that specializes in ultra-efficient battery casings. Second, an Asian telecom giant initiated talks about integrating EcoFlux units into their emergency communication towers. And third, the most shocking of all, a leaked document revealed that a government environmental agency was evaluating the technology for massive rural electrification schemes. The whispers from the trading floor were turning into shouts. The quiet murmur in online forums was becoming a roar. Was this the moment? Was this tiny, overlooked company about to step onto the world stage? The story of EcoFlux Energy is a masterclass in risk, resilience, and the chaotic nature of disruptive innovation. It's a reminder that the biggest revolutions often start in the quietest corners with a small team and a big idea. The journey from an abandoned warehouse to the brink of a global energy shift is far from over, and the final chapter is yet to be written. What do you think will happen next? Will EcoFlux become a household name, or will it be another forgotten what if? When you look at the stock market, what do you see? Tickers flashing green and red, big names like Apple, Amazon, and Tesla dominating the headlines. But beneath that surface, in the quiet corners of the market, stories are unfolding that most people miss. Stories about companies trading for pennies ignored by the mainstream, yet holding the potential to change everything. Today, we are diving into one of those stories. It's about a stock that lingered in the shadows. Its price so low that most retail investors didn't even notice it. But the smart money, the institutional observers, they were watching, they were waiting. Why? Because behind the quiet hum of a forgotten stock lies one of the most powerful forces in finance. Human psychology. It's a constant battle between fear and greed. We hate uncertainty, right? We're naturally drawn to what's safe and familiar. That's why investors flock to big, established companies. At the same time, we crave potential. We dream of getting in on the ground floor of the next big thing. So we avoid these tiny, unknown companies until we can't. Until they start making so much noise, showing so much promise, that ignoring them becomes the bigger risk. History is littered with examples of this exact pattern. Think back to the 1800s. People drilling for oil were seen as wildcatters, gamblers, chasing a fantasy. Then the world needed fuel, and those gamblers became titans of industry. Fast forward to the 1970s. A handful of nerds in California were fiddling with silicon chips. Nobody cared. They were just making toys for hobbyists. Until those toys powered a technological revolution. The 1990s gave us the internet. Companies with weird names like Amazon and Google were dismissed as jokes. Who would buy books online? Who needs another search engine? They asked. We all know how that turned out. Then came the 2000s and the first electric vehicle pioneers. They were laughed out of Detroit. Battery-powered cars are for golf carts. The experts sneered. Now, every major automaker is racing to catch up. In every single one of these cases, the pattern was the same. Dismissal, doubt, ridicule. Until suddenly, it wasn't. The world caught on, and those who saw the potential early were rewarded handsomely. This brings us to a company called EcoFlux Energy. Its journey feels hauntingly familiar. It's small, it's fragile, and its future is completely unpredictable. But it's powered by an idea so bold, so audacious, that it could disrupt a multi-trillion-dollar industry. The global energy market. Now, before we go any further, let's be crystal clear. This is not financial advice. Penny stocks are volatile beasts. They are the wild west of the stock market. They can create millionaires overnight, and they can just as easily raise fortunes in the blink of an eye. They are a high-wire act, a delicate dance between groundbreaking innovation and catastrophic risk. So, what makes EcoFlux Energy different? Why are some of the smartest people in finance quietly paying attention? It's not about hype, it's about something much bigger. It's about the convergence of three powerful forces: global crises, technological necessity, and perfect timing. Let's talk about timing. The year 2026 isn't just another date on the calendar. Many analysts see it as a critical threshold, a turning point in the global energy transformation. This is a decade where the world stops talking about renewable energy and starts demanding it on a massive scale. We're entering an era where we will need technologies that haven't been fully invented yet, innovations that are still being perfected, and solutions that aren't quite ready for prime time. EcoFlux Energy sits right at that intersection. It's unfinished, it's unproven, but it's undeniably intriguing. The company is working on a decentralized energy solution, a technology that could fundamentally change how we generate and distribute power. Imagine a world where energy isn't just produced by massive, centralized power plants. Imagine it being generated locally, on demand, where it's needed most. As the world hurtles toward a renewable future, think about the possibilities. EcoFlux's technology could become a cornerstone of this new grid. It could supplement massive solar and wind farms, providing power when the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing. It could be deployed in disaster zones, providing immediate power for rescue and recovery efforts when the main grid is down. It could bring electricity to remote communities that have been left behind by traditional infrastructure. It could strengthen our increasingly fragile and overloaded power grids, preventing blackouts and ensuring a stable supply of energy for everyone. The potential is staggering. But, and this is a huge but, it could all go wrong. The company could collapse under its own weight. The technology might not scale. Financial pressures could become too great. It could get swallowed by bigger competitors or simply run out of money, becoming just another forgotten penny stock, a cautionary tale whispered among traders. So, what's the truth? The honest answer is nobody knows. Not yet. We are in the earliest innings of this story. But here's what we do know. Every revolution, whether it's in technology, finance, or society, begins with a single spark. A spark that's often small, almost invisible, and incredibly easy to dismiss. And sometimes, that spark doesn't come from a gleaming corporate headquarters or a prestigious research lab. Sometimes, it comes from a place no one expects. A tiny, neglected ticker symbol, trading in the shadows of the market, waiting for its moment. As we look toward 2026 and beyond, investors who are paying close attention are all asking the same question. It's a question being whispered in private trading rooms and debated in online forums. Is EcoFlux Energy the spark that ignites the next energy revolution? Or is it just another flicker of light in the long, uncertain journey toward a truly renewable future? Only time will reveal the answer. The risks are real, and the outcome is anything but certain. But one thing is undeniable. The story has already begun, and slowly but surely, the world is starting to pay attention. Thanks for watching. If you found this deep dive interesting, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the hidden corners of the market. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.